Yo, what up, what up, what up? Y'all already know what it is. The No Country Show with your boy Brick City's finest, JD and Dave. We just gonna hit y'all with a couple of random thoughts right now. First off, let's we've been gone, but we back. We were gone for a minute, but we back. And a couple of things happened. Like Dave said, life was lifing. But we just want to go ahead and do a little bit of catching up real quick with y'all. First and foremost, we're gonna talk about something that's we both had to kind of grow out of, get a little bit better with our lifestyle choices. But it's something that's definitely a part of, our life. Mickey D's came at us with 50-cent double cheeseburgers last Thursday and Friday. 50-cent double cheese burgers.
It's
you
50.
Don't do that. Don't do me that. Don't do me that.
Yo, them niggas. Yo, I learned in my life over the years, you get what you pay for, and I stopped trusting motherfuckers that were like, we grew up on Graves for CHYEAH. We even grew up on the 2 for $2 Big Macs and Whoppers. But like, I get to a certain point, you learn shit. You watch Super Size Me a couple times, and you realize if a motherfucker trying to give you too much meat for 50 cents, too much meat for cheap, nigga,
and cheese,
a bad idea.
Meat and cheese, bro.
Cheap meat and cheese?
Meat
cheap
and cheese.
Meat?
So what we had to do,
welfare line
we decided to put each other on notice. Just make sure we aware it's a trap. We had to Ammo Akbar everything for ourselves real quick.
It's a trap.
Yeah. And we actually I think we actually did pretty well and not indulging like we used to.
It's the devil, dog. It's literally shaitan. Like motherfucking McDonald's, that shit don't go bad. It don't spoil. McDonald's, I don't give a fuck what recipe you got, how good somebody, your mama or your mother or your wife cooked. The only thing that tastes exactly the same way from the time you was 4 years old to the time you was 44 years old, motherfucking McDonald's, nigga. That's it. That's it. It's problematic, dog. That shit is. They didn't change the fries at Burger King. They didn't change motherfucking White Castle's formula. They didn't change goddamn everything. They didn't change ice cream, nigga. You know what the fuck will taste the same way 30 years ago as it will right now? A goddamn quarter pounder right now.
If brothers had half the discipline of a double cheeseburger, we'd be better. Them shit don't change, don't move, don't age.
Oh, yo, I'm glad you brought up McDonald's because, yo, real talk, I tweeted about this shit too. So, back in the day, part of the mystique and part of the deviltry of McDonald's was they hook you as children, all right? Happy Meals, most of us over, I don't know, 10 in this country could probably regale you about at least one Happy Meal toy that's come out over the years that became like their favorite toy, like damn near a blankie, all right? Usually that was because of great design. Now, recently,
ain't nobody never get a Happy Meal because they was hungry.
Listen, you understand what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. So recently, a Happy Meal came into our circle, right? Been a minute. We got it. My youngest is 13. Ain't had no Happy Meals around this motherfucker in a while. And ended up with the toy. And so what they ended up with this fucking bullshit Jenga, right? It's the mini classic Jenga.
Anything, right? It fall apart.
Like, no, hold on. It's one worse. I'll do you one worse. It's all cardboard, nigga. And you gotta put this shit together. You gotta put together. Dog, you gotta put together the cardboard Jenga, bro. You have failed this city. Get the fuck out of here, son.
Bro, why is the box heavier than the pieces?
Son.
Bro, they were real quick. Happy Meal. As I'm older now and I understand, marketing and all that stuff, I gotta say that is a fucking genius name for something. We need to open up a restaurant and call something the realistic meal.
Look at the box and the little smile on the box and the eye.
Bro, we need to come up with something called the realistic. We need a realistic meal, a sad meal. You know, we could put different shit in the box. Like for a sad meal, it could just be like a wet rag or some shit.
A sad meal is Arby's.
Yeah, but they ain't in the box. We gotta put it in the box. Gotta box that up, bro.
So okay, a sad meal.
No.
McDonald's.
Sad meal on a plate with a saran wrap top.
A sad meal at McDonald's is just them serving you Arby's.
A Arby's coupon.
Ew.
In the box.
Arby's already is the cheapest shit. You get like 5 sandwiches from Arby's for 15 cents, nigga. If you need a coupon, they giving you money back.
Yo, I ain't never had a problem with roast beef until I saw it in an Arby's commercial.
Oh God. I don't even eat roast beef, right? But I would eat literally any amount of it from any other place. And the only time people who be like my father-in-law fucks with Arby's. People close to me fuck with Arby's. I'm like, dog, every time I ever been there, it was more than a letdown. It was literally like one of the worst experiences I ever had in my life, eating fast food. And it's fast food. Like, that's a low-ass bar to clear, my nigga. Even Jack in the Box got some shit that's redeeming. Motherfucking Arby's, nigga, no. Y'all got the meats, and y'all can keep them motherfuckers.
All right. So moving right along, y'all already know what it is. No Country, JD and Dave. Y'all know how we get down. Make sure, excuse me. Make sure y'all like, subscribe. Go to the socials. JD Williams ENT on Twitter. No Country Show on Twitter.
We're gonna put up a GoFundMe for this nigga's developing emphysema. Stay tuned.
We working on it. We're gonna have that ready to go. You already know what it is, No Country. So moving right along. This is something that we was talking about earlier this week. It is being reported all over the place that DC is mainly scrapping most of the projects that they got, you know, sitting around right now. And it's a lot of mixed feelings within that realm, you know, so many projects, so many different actors and so forth and so on. Dave, what you think about that, man?
Yo, first off, I thought you meant Washington DC for a second because I'm just fucking retarded. Sorry, wrong word. But yo, I literally was like, yeah, what is going on in DC? Stupid motherfucker. What's wrong with me? Detective Comics, they on their movie department. They are, what the fuck are they doing, yo?
All right, so where we at is, let me start from here. Obviously Black Adam just dropped. It's not tracking the way they wanted to track, but it looked like it's gonna break even. But let's just say that that's not enough. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, his company mostly handled the production on that, and they got a chance to bring your boy Henry Cavill back in to try to get, you know, a little bit of energy back and life back into that universe. Once the Snyder Cut came, I think that really let all the air out of that balloon. You know,
did it though? Because a lot of those people
the reason I'm saying that is because, you know, they had something to fight for, and then once they got the Snyder Cut, it was like, now it's like, oh, we got it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And they just thought they was going to sit on that, and DC was like, no. I mean, no. I don't think so. So anyway, they dropping a lot of stuff, talking about dropping basically everything, and even recasting people. Let's start with Superman, obviously out in the front. What you think about, or what do you think they should do with the Cavill situation? This man just left The Witcher.
Yo, I think right now DC, Warner Brothers, Discovery, they are going through a corporate merger situation like I've seen in the past in my jobs. And they're treating IP like a company that is losing money would treat, you know, like the holiday party and shit. Or you know, something budget wise, you know, free ice cream in the break room or some shit. These are things like, look, it's beyond undervaluing, dude.
Right.
Like, Like they've been fumbling the bag since the beginning. We've been talking about this since Man of Steel. And I remember as soon as they announced that they were going to launch the DCEU, I told you, it's like, you're going to fuck this up. It's going to be bad. And by the time they get to Justice League, it's going to be even worse. And what did they do? They shit the bed time and time again. And now that they got back on course, they got some successes, they got some course corrections. Now that this new dude then came in and they made this merger, they're just literally, it's not even about undervaluing. They're literally saying all these bets that we tried to make are hedged and we're going to cut our losses now. And that means stuff that if you in money problems and you got things coming out of pipe that will make you money, you already spent the money. Why not break even or recoup or something?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, check it out. From, like you said, from Man of Steel, when he snapped Zod's neck, we was like, okay, this is different. Where we going? This is where we gonna be. And if you just take from that and keep building on all of the stuff they did, it starts from Zod getting his neck snapped. Everything starts from that. Everything.
I mean, to me, it started from even before that, because fucking John raised him to not save nobody. And I was like, it's like I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to retrofit this kind of earned positivity that Superman exudes. Like no clearer than in Man of Steel did I see where they were trying to go, right? But what I saw after Man of Steel, there's not even a particular event, because overall I thought Man of Steel was decent. For me, it was literally when they announced that they were about to launch into all of these world-bending movies. They weren't going to go back to the Nolan Batman, and they were going to start fresh from Man of Steel as its own entity, right? So I was like, okay, cool. We could go. I was cautiously optimistic. Next thing out the gate is Batman vs. Superman. We've heard my thoughts on that. Then they did the Suicide Squad, the first Suicide Squad, and it was just like, do y'all even know what would make a movie like this work, or are you just doing shit to try to keep up with Marvel? And that's where that split happened too, because people always was like, well, you know, you're just a Marvel loyalist. They just got more practice. They've been doing it better, at least in this space, for longer.
Well, see, and like if you're going, because like everybody who was watching DC go versus Marvel, we like, okay, well, DC, obviously we call it the Marvel formula. We was like, all right, well, DC don't have that equation down yet. So we could see when DC would try it and when they was just actively not even caring to try to even do that. You know, like something like Joker is not even trying to do a Marvel thing. You know what I'm saying? It's just going.
I mean, the wild thing about,
but then Joker, y'all gonna try to do a Shazam, and it's like, well, what are we doing, guys?
Well, the wild thing about Joker was their attempt. It was their first attempt to course correct after the initial failures. So it's like, you put out Shazam because y'all already fast tracked the movie from a couple years ago, so you gotta roll with it. But then you have these new people come in and say, all right, we're going to do this new direction. It's the same shit that they're going through with The Flash now. Y'all making these changes in the middle of having made these 90, 100, $120 million movies already. So, like, just when you think they're getting somewhere, I mean, they even did it with the first course correction. So you got Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Justice League, the Whedon joint. So you had 3 bad ones off top. Then you hit Wonder Woman. Oh shit, this was a good one. People liked it. Really successful. Made money. Then you hit Aquaman. Oh shit, like,
well, look, really? Now look, let's say something.
Then they got Shazam 3 in a row.
Yeah, but so, look, all three of those follow the equation.
I know. I mean, I'm just saying,
like here to here to here to here.
I'm just saying, either way, they were on a streak where they were doing better. And
yeah, then Wonder Woman was Superman again. Was Superman 78? boom, straight through, fire. Freaking Aquaman and Shazam was basically Marvel movies, and it was like, all right.
I would say,
and they held because they let the character be the character.
I would
it
say,
wasn't like even about the story.
Aquaman might have set itself apart even from a Marvel movie because it did the one thing that I've been waiting for a lot of these movies to do, and Marvel didn't get to do until like phase 3, which was just let loose and just be a fucking comic book movie, dude. Be a fantasy movie. Be a completely ridiculous at times, but contained within its own context kind of joint. Because like with Aquaman, the thing I loved the most about it, I was like, yo, they was throwing, but within 5 minutes, Nicole Kidman was fighting aliens in the fucking in the living room or some cabin off the coast of New Zealand or some shit like that. Like that's what you're supposed to do in that genre.
And James Wan was shooting it like that too.
No, right. He was killing it. And I mean, like, it didn't even have that lead up like they do with Marvel movies to try to make it make sense in that realm. They were just like, yo, motherfucker, it's a giant squid that this nigga can talk to, and it's already established from the rip. We're not asking questions. We're not black leathering his shit. Like, it's this nigga's half Atlantis and half human. Like, you know, we're into the fantasy. We're into the disbelief immediately, and I think that's how
they talking about dumping Aquaman 2 and maybe moving Momoa over to Lobo.
Okay, that shit right there. Another thing that's just a crazy move, and this is not me disagreeing with the casting because I would have put Momoa as Lobo way before I would have did him as Aquaman. But he killed the role. He's established. There's whole millions of dollars worth of shit out there now with Momoa as Aquaman. He's probably the most successful of all the top lead of all the lead modern DCU cast right now. Just based off of Aquaman. I'm not saying he's got the most money or has got the most successful movies.
Yeah, his shit was the tightest.
Yeah, in the DC context, and that bolstered him as a star even further, probably more so than anybody else. That's taking
followed by Wonder Woman.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, to me, that's like if fucking Marvel would have took Robert Downey Jr. in the middle of everything and made him fucking Mr. Fantastic. Like, what are y'all doing? It's weird. It's just weird, and I don't understand what they doing, B. Like, okay, Wonder Woman. They took Wonder Woman 3 off the table. Good. However, what are you going to do? Like, are you just going to leave that character in limbo? Are you going to recast? Is Patty Jenkins going away? Like,
all right, let's try to figure this out. If they get rid of Cavill, right, then that would mean they're gonna. If they get rid of Cavill and they move Momoa, that means we get in a different Justice League, a different Superman, a different everybody. Right?
That means they're gonna recast everybody, yeah.
Yeah. So,
but they still talking about leaving Robert Pattinson in though. So it's like,
well, he could be. You know, he already kind of is a recast. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's true. They also were talking about still rocking with Affleck too, though. So like, there's no continuity even to the speculation in their plans. They're just fucking throwing shit at the wall, and then Joker is still set outside of it all too. So now you got these 3 disparate storylines while y'all keep trying to reboot shit. Like, it's really weird, dude. And the thing is, if you are objective about it, like I feel like I am, right? DC they're the inventors of the superhero movie game. There was no superhero genre discussion without Superman 78 and Batman 89. It just was not.
That's it.
And them niggas had such a far lead, and then they came out with the Nolan joints before you know the MCU even got started good. So they already had the plate stacked, and they always had the animation stacked. The TV shows, I garner to say that the TV shows until recently were in DC's favor heavily, but with these movies, dog, I don't know what the logic is. I don't know what they
DC
do.
Animation be having it on lock though. They know what
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like in every other medium, as far as comic book translations and adaptations, DC beats Marvel everywhere but the movies. And it's weird because Marvel, even with the inconsistencies on the TV shows, there's still a consistency with the execution, the tone. As much as we didn't like maybe She-Hulk, they didn't cheap out on it. It didn't seem like it was just like thrown at the fucking wall. It just didn't hit. It just didn't work for different reasons that didn't work. But like the shit that they're doing with DC movies is just like poor. It's poor direction. It's poor on the executive level. Like it's just nonsensical, dude.
Yeah,
and I don't
this is part of what I was thinking earlier too. Like if you have a Marvel project, right? Let's say 3 people making it. At least 2 out of those, or 1 out of those 3 people, is going to have an idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
The other 2, y'all cannot even care about either the main actor going to be the one that loves the character, the person that wrote it going to be the character lover, or the director. One of those 3. DC will let all 3 of those people be somebody that don't give a damn about
shit about shit
that came before. And be like, we can still make this work. And you be like, no, you can't.
That's the problem with Snyder, bro. For him to have been the original version of Feige for them, he doesn't. He Man of Steel, as much as most people think Man of Steel was probably like a C+, B-. I don't think anybody disagreed on the fact that he fundamentally doesn't understand that character. He doesn't understand the character at all. He even in the interviews about what he was doing with the plot line, it's just like, dude, and you know he wants to buck back with against people's criticism of him, but sometimes somebody can see something you can't, no matter how smart or experienced you are. And the thing about Snyder has always been, you are a visual director. You make things look good, but the writing side ain't never been there,
bro. I remember.
You know what I'm saying? So you got too much dip on your chip, bro. What the fuck you talking about? Like,
bro, I remember going to see Man of Steel, right? I remember how people felt when they was walking out. Everybody was wondering, why the fuck was Superman so sad? Everybody was like, yo,
miserable.
He looked good. You
got pretty ass.
Action was straight. But why was he so sad?
Look, you got pretty ass, brolic ass Henry Cavill in the fucking role of a lifetime. This nigga, you have no other reason to put a nigga that looked like that in a movie like that other than to make him the absolute epitome of Superman. And you went as far as you could to deconstruct that shit. And it's like, for what? We already got.
Let him let his dad die and just made him sad.
Yo, that did me. I get annoyed when people bring up the Zod shit, because that wasn't, by the time that happened, that shit with the dad already happened, and that was when I was like, get the fuck out of here. Why? Why would you let this? What? Why
because the dude threw the beer in his face. That's why he snapped Zod's neck.
This is the thing. This is how you know Snyder doesn't understand the character. The one subversion that you tried to make was the one that showed how fundamentally disconnected you are. The whole thing about Superman is his values. He's an alien. And the thing he got right about Man of Steel was bringing it from that alien invasion angle, right? But then you do that and you take out the part of the original story that made the character what it was. This alien came and was imprinted by these two people who embodied the spirit of kindness, compassion, fucking service. You know what I'm saying? When you take that out of it, it's like right, exactly. It's like if you take Batman's parents getting killed out of his origin story, like that's who the character is. And that's
This
why I be
nigga's
saying,
name is Kal-El Hope, and you made him a sad ass nigga.
right? You even made the symbol say hope, not even S. But this nigga is sad than a motherfucker. You don't see him smile or act nothing like this beacon of positivity until the last 5 minutes of the fucking movie. And then you almost never let this nigga get back to that again. You kill him in the next movie. You make the next one even more depressing and stupid. Justice League, who the fuck?
Only, and this is where I'm even one of those people that I don't know if I should say I'll fall for it, but I'll take it. He was only Superman for the last 15, 20 minutes of Justice League. That was Superman. Just came in, dumped niggas in the chest, went out and saved some people, came back. Like the movie was over when he came into the movie.
Whimsical
it was
as hell.
Technically over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and he was smiling. He was happy. Nigga was happy to be alive. He was happy he had super people around him. I was like, yo,
ask the kids.
Where was this Superman?
Ask the kids. I was in the theater like, what?
The race between him and Flash at the end. I'm like, that was literally, like I said, as far as the Superman character went, that 20 minutes of Superman was like, that's all I wanted.
You've been waiting to see that since Christopher Reeve was out of here, like, and it took you all of that to, and I mean, Superman is such an iconic character that you don't have to subvert what he is, because there's already so many. The boys, they got Irredeemable, they got all these other subversions of Superman and bad Superman and human Superman and like the one thing I've always admired about the character, even though I've always found it kind of plain, is that undying optimism that it represents. And if you don't have that shit when you are dealing with,
that's the whole point of the balance between him and Batman. So Batman really can be Aggie, because a real person with no powers is gonna be in pain all the time, just from hanging out with y'all niggas. He's gonna be in pain, so he let him be
a legitimate insane person.
let him. Yeah, if he not just crazy, just right. Let him be. You and y'all with your powers and your healings and factors and your magic, y'all be the ones that be on the brighter side, okay? That's why he don't even hang up there with y'all.
Man, listen.
So, but that was the best Superman. Like I said, then they had Momoa did what he had to do with Aquaman, and everything else was, it was all kind of, like we said, it was all doable. But I think that's where it came apart, was that nobody was more so a caretaker of the characters. You know what I'm saying? You know the way they're saying that Hemsworth be talking shit now?
Yeah.
So nobody was doing that for their character. You know what I'm saying? And
because DC wasn't doing what Marvel was doing. Marvel was getting,
I mean, Ben didn't have to.
Well, right. I'm just saying, but Marvel was taking third tier, second tier characters and putting established people in there that they collaborated with. DC was like, yeah, let me take this person, this up and comer who we could slap into this contract for the next 10 years and just build the movie around what we think it should be. And because this is what, to me, I feel like DC has always thought that the brand recognition was going to bring in the money, which to a degree they're right.
Like, look,
to a degree they're right.
And Batman, those should be.
That's a no-brainer.
Like we always ask, if anything, whether it was Batman or whoever, how could you fuck up Batman? We've always asked that. Like, yo, who does that? And
it's rare that they do. But for some reason, with all of the rest of the DC canon, they just don't have that same care, and it's just really weird, man. It's weird. It's to me, it's a no-brainer. Like, you got Superman, you got the three most, in terms of iconography, literally iconic symbols of superheroism / comic book genre in history. And I'm not even counting Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, The Flash. Because The Flash is in the top 3. As far as you walk around, see a random t-shirt on a motherfucker, it's going to be one of them 3. You know what I'm saying? Even people that don't even fuck with comic books got Superman t-shirt.
That was a big deal.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, for that to have that built in, you already got shows that have goodwill. You already have content out there that's good and could be, if not copied, at bare minimum, the aesthetics been kept. Because we've been saying, how are y'all not doing the same shit you doing in the animated movies as you are in live action movies? It makes no sense. It makes no sense for how much better the animated movies are by and large.
And that's kind of like I try not to do the snooty elitist shit, but if a actor is doing a character that been around for 30 plus years, 50 plus years, and they not studying other variations of that character, especially when you got an animated catalog. Like if a nigga do Batman and he don't go back and listen to no Kevin Conroy, fuck you. You fucking up.
Yeah, you not nah. You don't understand that character if you're not using that as part of your research.
And you don't gotta be him, but he did all the psychological work for the character.
That's my point. That's my point. He made it easy for you. Like that's my thing. You know, I get being creative, but when there's a blueprint laid for you as far as like what is successful, I'm not saying you have to conform. I'm not saying you got to assimilate, but shit works for a reason. One of the things about Black Panther that works so well, I think personally, even if it's unconscious, Coogler studied the iconography of shit like Superman and Batman. Had to. Anybody who's a student of the superhero movies had to have done that. So I'm like, how is DC hiring people who are not doing that? That's how I feel. I feel like they're hot. Like the crazy thing about, like you saying, the first Wonder Woman being literally the female Richard Donner Superman, right? Patty the fact
Jenkins
that the next movie, huh?
Wasn't Patty Jenkins Richard Donner's protege? Like, didn't he like?
I believe so.
Tell her to take over Superman.
I believe so. So, like, where you came from with Wonder Woman 84, my nigga. Good Lord.
like how
scale slid so hard.
What happened?
The scale slid so hard, and I'm like, hey, dude, here's what's fucked up, right? And this is where I gotta give her, even though I really just don't understand the creative decisions on that shit. I gotta give her shit, right? Because if somebody would have told her that shit was ass before they put that out, I think they'd have had more room to work. I think it'd have been a situation if they'd have told her before they tried to go to work on that, like, hey, yo, this ain't gonna work. She would have either stepped down or they would have had to rework it like they do with every fucking thing else. But to me, that shit felt like they tried to give her all these notes in the first one. It worked. And then they gave her carte blanche with 2, and she disappeared up her own ass, bro.
Bro, I don't know what.
I don't know what the fuck that was, man.
Check this out. All right, in Superman 78, right, when Lex was giving the speech and he had the glass map on the floor.
Yeah.
And remember, he was explaining where the missiles was gonna hit, and he cracked it with his staff when his little stick was talking and everything. If I try to transpose that onto Wonder Woman 84 when Pedro Pascal's character walks into the president's office and the plan for this thing is just sitting there on a canvas, and he's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, that's this." What? How do you get from that, which is just as, obvious and dramatic, to just something that simple and goofy, and be like, we spent $10 million on that one scene? How? Can we
Listen, I don't know,
get on?
man. Listen, that's what I keep saying.
And we could use that, and we could have made.
That's what I keep saying. Nigga, give me $10,000 and I'll make you some better shit than they did in that whole scene.
So kind of what I'm getting here though, which I never really thought about it in this way, Marvel and DC mistakes are different.
Yeah, for sure. Marvel's mistakes are the opposite. I think Marvel don't trust their directors enough. And I think that sometimes they get too hands-on with driving where they think the shit's supposed to go. And you see, they've turned around and said they're going to start focusing on quality over quantity, which is what I've been saying about this shit. It's no way.
Also, one thing that Marvel was trying to do is they was trying to keep up with their books. Like, it's like, bro, the books bubble for years and then they come up. Why are y'all making new characters and now just throwing the characters in the movies just because they have a book? Like, that's not how y'all even got to Infinity War. Do y'all realize how much y'all had to pack in and explain to get to Infinity War?
I think what's happening is it's a course correction. It's going to be a course correction because they're putting out it's okay to make a connection to like music, right? It's one thing when we were younger and motherfuckers were putting out albums. We had a probably average 2 to 4 year wait between albums for your next shit, right? But that gave you the time in between projects to live life, to learn new techniques. That's why there's 14 years between Voodoo and Black Messiah or Avatar 1 and 2, because motherfuckers are taking enough care to go learn shit, refine their shit, get better at their craft in between projects. When you
That's something they can't take away from Cameron, because Cameron be like, yo, y'all could say this not going to make it at the box office, but I've already invested the actual time, hours into this shit that it is valuable.
That has to come back. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's like, I'm even rethinking what I said on the Avatar shit, because I'm like, damn, when I think about it, there's whole little kids that grew up on that shit. And they're going to go spend that money regardless. But that's besides the point. What I was saying was, when you're putting out so much product,
yeah,
in a small amount of time, the flaws in your shit become evident. And I think Marvel, DC, and any other major company that's cranking out this content is gonna suffer from the same shit. You're gonna have fatigue and you're gonna have quality issues because, listen, I always go back to this Outkast interview, right? It was around 99, and there was MTV, and then somebody had brought up to them Tupac having all this music being released after he died. And what they said was like, yo, man, that shit is crazy. And then, you know, there was a thing where people were just creating more and more music. I think that was the No Limit era where motherfuckers was putting out albums every year. Jay-Z was putting out albums every summer. And, you know, the question just came up, was like, will y'all ever kind of try to match that output? You see how people put more output out. You know, Tupac got all these shit come out in the vault. And they was like, you got a vault for a reason. You got a place where you put away some shit that you working on sometimes you're creative, because guess what? Quality control dictates that you don't put out every fucking thing you do. And what happens is, what has it been? 2008, right? That's when Iron Man came out. It's 2022. So in what, 14, 15 years, these motherfuckers have put out 30 some odd movies. They done put out a bunch of TV shows. I'm talking about, there's more Marvel content from the last 15 years than there have been from a lot, like almost the entire comic book genre over like 40. Like, there's too much. It's too much. And you're starting to see the problems in phase 4 where people are, you know, not as responsive. And, you know, then you got the DC issues with motherfuckers trying to keep up with 4 or 5 movies coming out every year. And it's like, dude, somebody's got to stop hemorrhaging all this fucking money and make good product. It don't have to be consistent. You don't have to keep putting it out every fucking 2 weeks. It's like shit, man. If I get one dope ass movie,
definitely, I think Marvel went crazy with the shows. Like they ain't need to do it all, and they should have stuck to their original order slate that they was coming out with before they did before um Endgame came out. They should have kept everything the way it was. Did the Black Widow, did that other shit, and then did Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel after Endgame. They should have kept that shit that way. And I think that everything would have been tighter, going into this next phase, because like, the way you started off is what I don't know. I think they should have just kept their original slate.
I just think they should have. I think they should have kept some of this shit tighter. I think everybody didn't need their own project. I think you didn't have to branch off. I mean, of course, I think most of this probably has to do with like actors and their contracts and salaries, of course. But I think certain characters aren't strong enough or necessary enough to carry their own show. For one. For two, I've been arguing against the long form TV show format for a while because the way they've been, especially in the streaming / prestige TV era, it's like you end up stuck with this episode order. If you got a 9-episode order, you got to fill all 9 of them episodes with content, and you maybe only got a 3-episode, 4-episode story at the most. And almost every one of the Marvel TV shows had the same problem. 4 or 5 episodes too many in each season. So now you're dealing with all this content that people got to sit through fucking 9 hours of one series, 6 and 8 hours of the other. And it's like, if it's not all top notch, damn, that shit becomes monotonous and becomes tiresome.
And your boy, they got James Gunn over there now.
Yeah.
So, and he's just, saying already into the mix, some of this stuff is true, some of it is not, half of it is right, we ain't decided. So that's a lot of more shit that we just
they gotta stop talking about this shit. I mean, if they do that, that'll fuck up stuff for people like us because we need our content. But these studios gotta fucking stop playing their hands. They don't owe people nothing. I don't even want to know. Listen, if you tell me your release slate for the next 6 years, how am I going to have any sense of surprise or any sense of anticipation if you try to, it's like Endgame, right? Not Endgame, Infinity War. I remember laughing because A, I had already read the book. I knew everybody was coming back. But B, I'm sitting in there with people crying and all shocked and bugged out. And I'm like, yo, but y'all gotta know, like they already announced Black Panther. They already announced 2. They already announced all of these sequels to
we're not understanding that people not looking at it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like,
saying, really? But this shit is news stories, man.
Yo, my mother didn't know there was an Endgame until 3 years later. She was like, she literally thought thought Infinity War was the end of it, bro.
That's crazy.
She called me one day. It was like, yo, it's another one. I'm like, Mom.
They advertised the shit out of that
I'm sorry. You really went 3 years thinking that was the end? So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So as much as somebody might be like, oh, you don't got to stick to the story. It's really just people, like you said, that got that blank slate anticipation of really not knowing shit about none of that.
Right.
And so, yeah, when they put it in your face, like, oh, and then this, and then that, and then she coming, and then it's like, well, who's that? Now you got people talking to you about that 3 years before the show even come out.
Yeah. I think they need to go back in the day. Stop talking about release slates. Stop talking about shit. Oh, so and such signed this thing and da 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 da. Like, man, just fucking let this shit come out. Let people be surprised. You know,
They gotta tighten up though.
Yeah, I was about to say, God damn it, man, stop, yo. If your shit ain't as good as a Black Panther, if your shit ain't as good as a Peacemaker, if it ain't as good as an Aquaman, go back to the.
Well, maybe that's why homie was like, nah, we not even doing this Batgirl. We not doing this. We not none of this stuff. That's not if it ain't right.
Made that shit.
If it
They
ain't
already
right,
paid the money for it.
Out. If it ain't right, it ain't coming out.
But that shit was crazy though. That shit was still crazy. I mean, they already paid for that shit. Like, what the fuck,
yo? But maybe you know how some girls look at their selfies and it be a regular. It look fine and they be like, nope, not this picture. And you be like, what's wrong with that one? It's just something. He just came in like, nope, no. He want to put out the perfect selfie, bruh. He not playing with these niggas no more.
But nobody's paying fucking $90 million for a selfie though. You know what I'm saying? Like they bugging, and we don't even know. Like, look, here's the wild shit, right? In any other instance, I'd have been like, yeah, I probably could trust them saying that shit wasn't good enough to put out. But the shit they put out, fuck out of here. I trust y'all niggas quality control.
Somebody got at some point, somebody got to stop it. Somebody got to say, all right, enough.
Y'all motherfuckers put out Joker with your chest. Y'all put out Black Adam with your chest. Y'all put out Batman vs. Superman and both of them booty ass Justice Leagues with your whole sternum. I can't even imagine Batgirl being any worse than any of those movies. I can't imagine it. That's not to say they couldn't accomplish it. I'm just saying.
Black Adam, real quick. I just, bro, all he had to do was be The Rock, bro.
It was what I thought it was going to be, bro.
And check this out.
I'm wrong.
If he would have did his wrestling character, literally, he would have did The Rock, literally. The Brahma Bull. If he would have did that, I promise you that movie would be over $1 billion right now.
Here's what fucks me up about that movie, right? My prediction was that he was going to kind of like tone it down, right? As far as how ruthless Black Adam was and shit like that. What's crazy is he didn't really do that, right? Because when you look at the action scenes, he was swinging motherfuckers around.
No, his attitude was too chill. Black Adam
the rest of it, he sanded down everything else sharp about the rest of it. Like, how do you make the part?
Anytime this nigga's ego needs to show, now is the time to show your ego, bro.
It was so weird. Yo, Keon hated that shit.
Yo, check this out, bro.
I think he went back.
He did a Christian Bale, like what Christian Bale did with his Batman. That's what The Rock did. He took that shit so serious and just, I don't know why he just made that choice and stuck with that choice.
I'm gonna tell you what he did. You'd have to watch that shit again to prove it, but I don't think that's gonna happen. He played Terminator 2 Arnold. That's what he did.
He didn't.
Dog, I'm telling you, the stiff.
I get the comparison because I was liking the young boy. That he was a good character.
Yo,
he was the one with all of the assurance of who Black
think
Adam
about
was.
it. Think about it. The Rock is chasing the Schwarzenegger mantle anyway, right? And the way he chooses his roles are always these stilted, kind of disaffected motherfuckers, almost kind of like Schwarzenegger. Even though you know Schwarzenegger got more depth than that, he knows his bag. To me, I think the way he patterned his performance in Black Adam, I swear, from the moment I fucking watched him with the kid to the very end, I was like, this nigga did fucking T-800 and T2. And that's not a great choice. It's not a compliment. It's not a compliment.
He literally could have wore his natural hair. Is actually like Black Adam's real hair.
I think we passed that particular milestone.
No, but what I'm saying is that this is how close this nigga really is character-wise. Like, bro, The
What I
Rock,
tell you,
the wrestler,
what I
The
tell you,
Rock
what I
is
tell
how
you,
Black Adam behaves.
what I tell you, what I tell you, his brand was never going to allow him to fully embrace, because Black Adam is not a likable character.
Bro, he didn't. But everybody loves The
Black,
Rock. Just do that. You're
I
gonna
get
like
it, I
that.
get it, but The Rock is still a
Bro,
lovable. He's a
what
heel.
about this?
He's not a genocidal villain. He's a heel. He's the guy you love to hate.
Bro, check this out. He didn't
Black
even
Adam ain't
he didn't
that.
raise his voice. Not once in that whole movie. When Superman came at the end, he was still whispering, bro. Like, oh,
I mean,
man.
the fact that they made the fact that they made the character this chummy kind of gentle giant to this kid when this nigga has committed genocide, and this motherfucker is ruthless and vengeful and is a full-on villain. That alone don't mix with Rock's brand at all. It don't mix. Like, I'm glad they said Momoa, because remember we talked about this before, and we said we could see the Rock as Lobo, but he even talked about Lobo. No, we don't want him to do Lobo. That's for the same. It's the same reason we don't want fucking Kirk Cameron being Wolverine. Like, you gonna water that shit down. You gonna put your brand stamp on it and make it some kind of like pleasant thing that's not what the darkness of the character requires. So that was my prediction from the when we watched the trailer, and he did it, and it came off worse than I thought. I wanted to like that shit more. I liked a lot of the action sequences with him, you know, when they were showcasing his power, because you know that nigga can't run. Like, The Rock pretty much just stands in one place in most of his movies. Like, he don't move, he don't have a lot of range of motion. He's 50 something. He fucked up his body his whole life. So like, I don't be expecting no John Wick level action. So what they pulled off with his action scenes with that was good, but I really wasn't into the Justice Society shit. They could have kept that shit. I have more of a problem with that than really anything. Like,
it was a little forced.
yeah, they could have kept that shit. Like, if you already connecting them to the larger universe, you don't need to shoehorn 4 other characters to try to build up some little, you know, low budget Avengers on niggas, and you know, and then you fucking killed Dr. Fate. They did the same bullshit they did with Darwin in motherfucking First Class. Like, what are y'all doing?
He got the helmet so somebody else could wear the helmet. So that's not even.
That's not even again. That's not even the fucking point.
Whole shit, like what's the name? Like a Doctor Who thing.
You know what it is? DC treats it like a tax write-off. I'm gonna be real. The choices they make, even down to the shit they did with Black Adam, they treat it like a fucking corporate property. They have a lot less reverence for what would make it work creatively. They feel like they're like, all right, we got this brand recognition. You slap an S symbol on literally fucking anything, and people will show up. You slap the only thing they won't do that with is Batman.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? And I'm not complaining. I love Batman. That's my favorite nigga. But like, for them to have the roster that they have, and for them to fucking fail as hard as they can at so many times, I mean, and the shit that they've won with Shazam, you would have never told me Shazam is my Captain America in the DC universe. You'd have never told me that one of my favorite movies out of that franchise was gonna be fucking Shazam. Like, you'd have never told me that shit before they started the goddamn DCEU, man.
Right. Yeah, that was off to the side. But all right, man. We don't think we done hit up DC enough. Y'all already know what it is. No Country, JD and Dave. Chopping it up, just, you know, long form stream of consciousness. Oh, we was going to touch on video game awards, and also leading into that, these dudes is out here fighting with $68.7 billion trying to buy Microsoft trying to buy Activision Blizzard, and
they've been trying to do that for a while.
Obviously salty about that. What'd you say?
Haven't they been trying to do that for a while? Or I thought they didn't buy them, or Activision bought Blizzard a while back, and now Microsoft is trying to buy Activision. Okay,
yeah, and for $68.7 billion. But if they do that, that means that Microsoft can start acting funny with the Call of Duties, and
that means that they're gonna ruin
everything.
That means they're gonna ruin every fucking thing Blizzard ever touched, because that's what Microsoft does.
Sony know they like, yo, if y'all start getting funky with the Call of Duties on us, what's the Call of Duty shit like? Probably like what, $10 billion industry a year or something like that.
Probably.
So they mad about that, but I don't know. Money talks, because that's one of the things where I'm always getting on. But Microsoft is dirty, bruh. They so dirty, because when the Xbox came out, I bought the first 2 Xboxes, maybe 3, right? 360 was the second or the third one.
That was the second one.
All right, so I bought the first one. I bought a 360, and I've had 2 other ones. I've had an S1 and something else. But either way, when the first 3 came out, especially that Red Ring of Death, they lost billions of dollars. Microsoft as a gaming company should not exist. Nobody in the world can afford to lose billions and billions of dollars for like 5 years straight, just so that you can pay for a name in the industry. That's all y'all paid for. And now they about to buy half the video games in the world. Like, give me
that's
that.
the only way. Listen, that's billionaire rule 101. If you can't beat them, buy them. That's it. The only way you can win, like the corporate structure of society is so fucked up that there is no such thing as, competition anymore. It's all conglomeration. You just selling more so that the biggest company in your industry one day will fucking buy you and then absorb your sales acumen and product shit as their own. So, like Microsoft ain't gotta be better at Blizzard or Activision or any other country at making video games. They just got more money. So now we just gonna buy you niggas. Ain't no competition. I work in a company that does the same shit.
Just like Disney done, just like Disney did to Pixar. Blew them up. They blew them up and then switched teams on them. Switched the teams on them. So now all the Disney people over there getting blamed for the Pixar stuff, and the Pixar people come getting their shit off over at Disney. Like, come on. Anyway, but yeah, they Microsoft greasy. But as far as the Game Awards, I don't know. Did you see any of it? Did you watch any of it? You know who won?
No, I don't follow the Game Awards. I don't really follow no award shows no more. I just think that shit is a little corny. I think people put a lot on it instead of just shit on the merit of the work they put out. They go for award show bait, and it usually cheapens a lot of shit. And then the awards, people get all bent out of shape about who wins what. I'm like, man, if the shit hot, the shit hot. Fuck an award.
All right, well,
I've never let a statue tell me how nice I am.
I fucks with certain video games, and I know you do too. And just so what other people are playing right now. But I do like to know, especially with video games as an art and as a technology, I like to stay up on that shit. So just to know, and some some shits do be fire. Like Game of the Year was Elden Ring. Best game direction was Elden Ring. Best narrative, God of War, Ragnarok. Best art direction, Elden Ring. Best music, Ragnarok. Best audio, Ragnarok. Best performance, Christopher J. Ragnarok.
I
So
seen something about that. I saw something about that.
yeah, it was just between those two games this year, mainly. And like I said, like it was just.
Did Sifu win anything?
I had guessed. I think if God of War would have came out earlier than just a couple of weeks ago, it would be fair to win Game of the Year. But how are you gonna come out 3 weeks ago and win Game of the Year compared to a game that been rocking all year? That wouldn't even make sense.
I mean, you know, that's recency bias. That's why a lot of those award shows be bullshit. They do it with the Oscars and the Emmys too. A lot of stuff will get knocked out of contention by something that came out literally just to be in awards contention. And a lot of people stunt their releases because of that too. Like, because they know the judges will be like, oh, goldfish memory, here's this thing I just experienced. This is the best of the year, even though you had the best experience. That's why I always stick to the things I choose and give an objective view or play or whatever other shit, because recency bias is a motherfucker. It's why Die Hard's still my favorite movie, because I'm like, I listen, every time I walk out of a movie, I think about how I felt when I first watched Die Hard. If it's not matching that, you can't take that slot. But what they do now with award shows is, you know, they put out shit all year, but the big numbers and the big names wait till award season, right before award season, to drop, just because they know you got a better likelihood of getting your shit off if if you're fresh in people's memory.
Like even with the Golden Globes right now, it's stuff that's nominated that's not even out yet. Like y'all giving awards for stuff that people ain't even get a chance to see yet, but y'all saw it
off of screeners and shit, right?
But yeah, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. So
yeah.
Speaking about how it be, do we want to go ahead and wrap this up on something that might be a little bit sensitive for both of us?
I mean, I don't know. What is it? Good.
The Whitney Houston trailer.
Whitney Hutton.
Do you wanna do this or?
Look.
I don't know. Maybe we should just save it, bro. We might have. I don't know, but we could just talk about it. We don't really got it.
Nah, we ain't gotta save it. You know why? If we gonna have these opinions on black led entertainment and black creative entertainment, then we gotta be able to hold motherfuckers accountable too. It can't all be praise. It can't be trolling, but we gotta be able to be truthfully objective. And I think that I Want to Dance with Somebody trailer, it looks like a fucking shit show, my man. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. We North boys. I've been to Whitney Houston and Sissy Houston's church, my nigga. Like, it's important that story. She is an iconic superstar. We're not talking about some low budget person. We're not talking about somebody who's niche and underground. We're talking about one of the premier pop artists of the century. You gotta do that shit. We talk about paying homage in the comic book space. You gotta do that shit for real when it's a real person. And Whitney, no matter how you ever viewed her towards the end of her life, she was only as famous as she was because of a certain amount, a very specific set of circumstances. Now, for one, the movie doesn't look like it's bad. I'm not trying to shit on people, especially black actors, getting work and doing their best in this field. However, it looks a little lifetimey for one, and it seemed like they spent a lot of money for it to look like it should be on a free cable network. And number two, and this is no disrespect to Naomi Aki. She's beautiful in her own right, but part of Whitney Houston's appeal specifically is she is stunningly gorgeous. Like, and then she opens her mouth and she sings like that. So if y'all had the presence of mind to not let actress try to sing on her own or not cast somebody who could sing, right? When it comes to certain things, it's almost like the kid. I feel the same way about the kid that played Elvis. I haven't seen that movie, but I'm like, part of these people's appeal was their staggering attractiveness. You know what I'm saying? Like when they did this weird ass Marilyn Monroe movie that everybody knew about on Netflix, they cast a really beautiful woman because part of the whole mystique of Marilyn Monroe was how attractive people found her. This is the case with Whitney Houston. Part of the whole appeal of her, she was this ingenue, this innocent seeming beautiful young woman with this unbelievable powerhouse voice. And I think when you miss, even if it's being facetious, sorry, I think when you miss a characteristic like that, when somebody's as iconic as Whitney Houston, you kind of dropping the ball out the gate. And I mean, it's like if you do a Luther Vandross movie and you don't do Fat Luther and Little Luther, like it's part of the shit. It's part of this, and these people really lived. We're not talking about interpretations of fictional characters. Like Whitney Houston was real as fuck.
So, well, you pretty much covered it. I pretty much agree with everything you said. I definitely was getting the not A+ vibes from the commercial that I saw. Didn't even look synced up, right? But then, like I said, we personally, as far as Whitney Houston, growing up in the 80s, being from Newark, all of that, living through it, we also have kind of a closeness, to that subject matter. So yeah, it's gonna definitely put us in a space where we're gonna, even if we're not trying to be super critical, we are just tuned. We're tuned that way to her.
Yeah.
So so looking at it, like you said, I try to also leave it open for, artist interpretation and performance, because sometimes, when we remember when Angela Bassett was doing, Tina Turner, people was like, oh, she don't look like Tina. But then as you watch the performance, you started to see Tina Turner.
I mean,
and
I don't
even
even know if
you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if I can say
Now,
that.
now I can't. Now look, I can't. Now I can't make the leap
into that shit, bro.
I can't make the leap in my head between this actress and Whitney. I can't make that leap right now because I didn't see it in the smile. I didn't see it in the face. I didn't see it in the nose. I didn't see it anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, Angela Bassett had the physique and, more that actually lent into it. But just off the top, we wasn't automatically like, oh, yeah, I see it. But then we was like, oh, shit. But this doesn't jump out at me at all.
Maybe there's no disrespect to the young lady. Maybe that is indicative of the level of performance and immersion.
But then
it might have required.
It goes into what you were saying also was about, even when I'm looking at the costuming, like real quick, and the lighting, it just kind of looked a little flat. Like I said, maybe I'm expecting something more because I saw how grand it was in real life.
Right.
So I'm expecting something else. If y'all gonna redo the I'm Every Woman video movie, it should look crazy. Like
Whitney needs a Ray level. Like Ray didn't look like that. Ray looked like a movie that you spent whatever they spent. Whitney needs that treatment. Whitney needs what they did for Ray. Whitney needs what they did for Johnny Cash. Like Whitney needs that
even
iconic.
Frankie joint is dope.
Yeah, I mean, right. But I'm just saying that her level, because they about to do a Madonna movie. I bet you they ain't gonna skimp on that shit. I bet you that motherfucker gonna look like it's shot by Roger Deakins. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna look like the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. Like that shit looked movie the fuck out.
It gotta look,
and they even got the same people behind this one.
Yep. I mean, I didn't check out none of the Mike Tyson stuff yet either. I don't know if that looks small or big because I haven't seen any clips from it at all.
I heard the Hulu one was not official, so Mike
Well, you know,
Mike
I
came
mean,
out.
he definitely didn't approve it. You know, I told you I auditioned for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
He
still
came
got
out
the
against
audition,
it.
but it's just funny though because at first he was with it, then he wasn't, and then at the end of the day, he still, you know, I guess he just wanted to just go ahead and lean into the Jamie Foxx one. So, the Hulu one is unauthorized,
I
and the
mean,
Jamie Foxx
we
one
ain't
is
we
authorized.
Jamie Foxx, the Jamie Foxx Mike Tyson same can with the Spawn one, man. We gonna see that shit.
Word, I was thinking about Spawn when we was talking about the DC and stuff earlier because I was like the only other two video game joints. I mean, comic book joints that really popped back then. I mean, people talk shit about Spawn, but I remember liking it. It was good to see Michael Jagger in shit. I ain't hate it. I hated John Leguizamo in it, but I ain't hate the movie.
I
So,
ain't hate it, but I ain't think that shit was good. I wanted it to be so much.
nah, it was just what it was.
I was glad it exists, and I was glad it existed, and it was the best we could get for that property at that time.
Yeah, but the top
it
three
ain't hold up real soon afterwards. It ain't take long for me to be like.
Cape, we was looking at that cape like, damn. Ugh. But the top three, like you said, Superman 78, Batman 89, Turtles 89. That's the three top comic book movies where it's like, oh shit, damn, that's
Before,
like you can't say there was anything wrong with them shits.
Before the MCU?
Yeah, that was right after. Yeah, that was the same year as Batman.
I don't know. I gotta switch out Blade.
Jim Henson fucked that up. He killed
I gotta switch out Blade for Turtles. I love Turtles with Blade. I didn't even read the comics.
No. Blade is number 4. I'm just talking in order.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You are
because
correct.
Then after Blade, we would still have to. I don't know why we would have to squeeze Mortal Kombat in there somehow just for it being.
No, we don't.
Fucking ridiculous.
We don't gotta do that. We don't gotta do that.
Well, we can leave out the Mario movie.
We can do that too. We can leave that out too. We can disavow that whole era, my nigga. Nope.
Bro. But
I remember I watched that. Dog.
But yes, this you know this Whitney Houston thing. Yes, so we very much wild reserved on it. Want to see it do well, but we do not like the way it's looking or feeling.
Can I ask y'all to like Sonic the Hedgehog that one? Is that wrong? I should have said that.
Okay. Well, you see, we're gonna be hard on that one. So
I'm sorry.
Woo! Yeah, bro. It's personal. It's personal.
It is. I feel a way.
Yo.
I feel a motherfucking way, man.
Yo, I do too. So, you know, we're gonna go into that. But that's where we at.
Real quick.
Y'all know what it is. This is No Country. Quick.
My man playing Bobby Brown, the one that played the Blizzard.
Yeah.
That's my man. Shout to him. Y'all doing a lot. Y'all niggas doing a lot, and you know it.
Bro, you know, he was the only thing I saw in the commercial that I thought looked official.
I ain't even see him too. I just saw.
They had him in the red suit standing next to him, and he had the gap in his teeth. I was like, that looked like Bobby.
The first trailer I saw didn't have him in it, but this new one did that I saw. I was like,
hey, that was the only shot that I even thought was even close. And like I said, everything else was looking crazy. Her jeans ain't even look right. So we're going to leave this right there before we go down the spiral. We're going to leave that right there before we go down the spiral, all right?
The jeans ain't right.
Yo, because you know how Whitney had the jeans and the mom jeans, they came up here, they wasn't right, bro. So look, we're going to go ahead.
I'm going to just tell somebody their jeans ain't right. Your jeans ain't right.
Go look back at the commercial again, bro.
Your jeans ain't
wasn't right, bro.
Your jeans ain't right. That's my new shit. That and it tastes boring.
Fix your jeans, son.
Your jeans ain't right.
Her jeans ain't right. So look, y'all know what it is. No Country with JD and Dave. Make sure
get your jeans right.
And we gonna catch up to y'all again. Like, subscribe. Y'all know what it is. Thanks for joining us. Get to the socials, JD Williams ENT on Twitter and on Instagram. It's the real JD Williams. No Country Show on Twitter and No Country Show on Instagram. Y'all know what it is. Like we said, thank y'all for coming through, and we gonna catch up to y'all the next time. Peace.
Go get your jeans right.